Good morning, aspirant. Hope you all are doing well, your days are going productive, and you are working hard to your aim. This session is going to be very, very important for master's student who are in the first year of master's or second year of master's, or graduation students in graduation who are willing to do masters in near future. So we all know in our MSc 1 year or 6 month, last 1 year or last 6 month, depending on your institution, you have to do a research project. You have to involve, you have to uh, be in a lab where you have to perform your MSc project or MSc thesis. And it is very much important that which lab you are choosing and which professor under whom you are doing your MSc research. Okay, so deciding the factor, deciding the lab, deciding the professor, these things are very much important, and guidance are less in this matter. So watch this video till end, and at the end of this video I am going to share my opinion with you. Okay, so suppose you are in the if you are in IITs, then 1 year is your duration for MSc project, and in normally in other institutions generally it is your last 6 months. Okay, so it's a huge time, and uh, during those semesters most of the time you will spend in your lab. So it's very much important to wisely choose your master's guide or your research lab. Okay, so how you will approach thinking that how you will choose your MSc guide. Okay, to do so first, um, okay, so step one, according to me, step one should be first, know your institution. That means there are few institutions who do not give you sufficient scope or do not give you a free choice to choose a lab. There are so many institutions where you have no choice. The officials will decide. The PG section, postgraduate section, department will decide that under which lab you are going to perform your project. So know your institution. From your institution, get it clarified that have you the choice of choosing the lab or not. If you have no choice, then there is no question of choosing wisely your lab, right? So first, know your institution. If your institution allows you to choose the lab according to your convenience, generally in IITs, in NITs, what happen, based on your CGPA, you have to fill up a priority order of professors, that this is my CGPA, and under this professor I am going to do my research. So my first preference is this professor or this lab, second is this professor, third is this professor. So you have to fill your preference. And if your CGPA is higher than someone else, suppose professor 1 and professor 2, candidate 1 has chosen professor 1 first priority, has chosen professor 2 second priority. Candidate 2 also chosen professor 1 first priority, professor 2 second priority, and professor 3 third priority. But CGPA of candidate 2 is higher than CGPA A, then professor 1 will be allocated, or lab of professor 1 will be allocated to candidate C2. Generally, this scheme follows for IITs. And in general, what happens, there is a quite good understanding among these candidates, C1, C2, that if C1 has decided that I will go to this professor, then generally C2 candidates choose other professor. So this quite understanding or friendship exists among these candidates. Okay. So first, know your institute. If you have a fair choice, then your second step should be know your aim. That means if you are going to do PhD in your future, or you are going to join such companies where research and development work exists, that means you are going to build your career in research related or lab related work, then you have to learn this process, this MSc research work very very wisely, or very very efficiently. So if your aim is like that, the scenario is different. But if you have choice that no, I will not pursue, I will not continue my journey in future in jobs which involve lab related work. That means your lab work should not be, so much important for you. Just it is your, like it is your coursework, right? So their case is different. Suppose candidate one, he want to go for PhD, or he want to do job where lab skill is required. Suppose candidate two is someone who is going to switch his field or her field in near future, or the career he or she is going to choose is not according to lab work, or it has nothing to do with lab. He or she has decided already. So not equal to lab. So this two type of candidate you have to choose, that which in which direction you are going to lead your life in near future. According to this, you have to choose your lab. Suppose in some lab, professors are very serious about candidates' performance. If you go, they will push you to work in lab so hard. You have to learn, they will push you so much that you have to invest maximum your time in lab, and you will have no way. Generally, institution has no influence. Everything is decided by your guide. So if in some lab, suppose in a lab, so many important works are going on and everyone is super serious about their work. If it is your lab environment, then candidate one should go there. If in any other lab, suppose that lab student choose, generally they do not put such much pressure for candidates to do lab related works. Obviously you have to work hard. Obviously this is in your curriculum, so you have to work, but pressure is not so much hard. So candidate for candidate 2, it will be suitable. Some students will be trying obviously for NET, GATE, BARC, geoscientist, this examination. For preparation of this examination, if they are willing to choose this kind of lab, that will be helpful for them. So this is step 2, know your aim. That if you are going to pursue your research, or in near future you are going to lab related work, then you have to build your skills, and those kind of lab which are super efficient and who are very serious about teaching you or about their work. So this kind of lab will be very much helpful to you. So this type of candidate should choose that kind of lab. Now here is step 3. How will you understand that which lab is that kind of process, that kind of environment, and which lab is not? Step 3 is approach your seniors. Ask your seniors in your institution. Ask your seniors that, Bhaiya, I have no interest in research, so I am going to prepare for examinations, normal job related examinations, or I am willing to switch my field. And just I want to complete my coursework. I don't have so many affection for learning those difficult lab skills, or too much learning from this lab. Just I want to pass the semester and perform a decent score. So which lab is best for me? Seniors will be the best person to guide you. That if you are willing to learn so much about lab, this lab is suitable for you. If not, this lab is suitable for you. So approach your seniors. This is your third step. Okay, so within these steps, follow these steps and take a notebook, write these things. Step 1, step 2, and step 3, follow this. Step 1 is a cakewalk for you. Just you have to ask your seniors or your institutions. Step 2 is difficult, that what you actually want to do. If you want to do both of things, then probably nothing will work for you. So for step 2, uh, write pros and cons, or whatever do's and don'ts, whatever what you want actually in the near future. So according to that, choose step 2 and then step 3. If your professor is not understanding what you are going to do and putting unnecessary pressure, that is going to ruin your 1 year. Believe me, you will not even like to go to the lab, and every moment you will be liking कि आज लैब ना हो, है ना, या आपको जाने का मन नहीं करेगा. So it is very much important to choose your lab wisely. So after these 3 steps, I want to give you some advice ki if you are in MSc, if you are doing masters, then obviously this is going to be the last semester or last couple of semesters, and I will advise you to learn as much you can. Suppose after that, if you are in field, then obviously this is going to help you. And if you are not in field, then this is the maximum thing you can learn from this field. If you are in chemistry, it is the maximum thing you can learn. After that, if you are switching field, then obviously they have no usefulness. But if you learn this, then you have taken the maximum benefit of your course, of your institution. So I will advise you, in your masters, try to learn as much as possible. Maybe it's from coursework, maybe it's from lab, whatever it is. Learn as maximum as possible. So it is my suggestion to you that in your masters, in whatever lab you are, learn as much as possible. Now, one more thing. Suppose in step 1, if you have understood that, if you got to know that your institute do not allow you to freely choose your guide or your lab, then what you will do? Then whatever lab you are allocated in whatever lab, you will talk to your professor. Every professor generally occupy one lab. So you have to talk to your professor very honestly, sir. I am going to do research. If you are going to do research in future, then talk to your professor in this way, sir. I am going to do research in near future. In my MSc, if I get one research paper, then my my future career will be glorified with that, and I will be very much good scope to research in foreign countries. Okay, so talk to your talk to your professor in this way. Suppose you are not going to do research, then talk to your professor like this way, sir. I have no interest in research and I am not going to do PhD, but I will be giving some competitive examinations, some national level examinations. So if it is possible that you give me less lab work, then it will be helpful for me to prepare for those examinations. So I sincerely request you to give me less work, at least the work which is essential for my course. Give me such things. I will be very happy to learn that. But in my remaining time, I will be very much happy if you allow me to if you give me sufficient time to prepare the examinations. So talk honestly with your professors. So that will be very much helpful to you. And this thing applies for those who have free choice to your institutions. Obviously, after talking to your senior, when you will be allocated to your professor or lab, then talk to your professor honestly. Mostly professors are very much understanding. They will understand your situation. Okay. If you have free choice to your institution, first, if possible, first before allocation, first talk to your professor. Sir, I was thinking ki I will join your lab, but I don't want to do research in near future. If it is possible that in your lab I just do whatever it is, my coursework is needed, and the remaining time I will focus on my preparation. If your professor is is humble enough or allowing you to do so, if professor says it's okay, you can do that here, then you can choose the lab. If this professor do not do this kind of thing, then he or she will tell you that no, in my lab if you come, you have to work hard, you have to give your maximum time, your 100% time to this lab, and you have to work hard. Then if you are not going to do research, that lab is not for you. I hope it's helpful to you. Work hard, take decisions wisely. Jai Shri Krishna. Radhe Radhe.